the meditation associations.
C'est l'habitude.
Now, I would like to say in the name of Abner. Abner is a little bit, he's present, but he can't really talk because he's not quite well. So he is excusing himself. But may I now introduce Paul Brown to those who don't know him yet. Paul Brown from San Francisco. He was so pleased to and was so kind to take this meeting here into his hands and moderate it with whomever want to participate also in contributing something, some talks and questions and answers. So may I just ask everybody that they are muting their audio. Thank you very much. So Paul, I would like to ask you to take over and do your privilege in moderating this session today. You're muted, Paul.
I'm clearing my throat. Hello, everyone. It is a privilege to be with you all today. And I think what I would like for us to do is to meditate briefly together for about 10 minutes or so. So why don't we do that? And I'll say Jay Gurudev in about 10 minutes. So let's close our eyes and appreciate the global silence.
Paul, I just want to add one thing is we'll do this little awareness exercise right after we meditate. So when you say Jay Gurudev, if everybody could keep their eyes closed, and after about a minute, I'll go through this exercise with everybody.
All right.
And we actually have two Russian speakers on the group today, Lilia and Anna. And Lilia's going to talk also today for a while, we'll say.
Great. Well,
so may I just remind for those, just for the translation purpose, to speak a little bit slow and not too fast. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Lilia will be speaking in Russian for the benefit of our Russian attendees. And the big thing is it's not really that important to understand what's being said. It's just important to listen properly. And that's what we'll go through when we do this little exercise, how to listen properly.
All right. So
Dear Geoff, dear Paul, very nice to meet you, everybody. I just want to bring to your attention that translation will be available only from English to Russian. Otherwise, from Russian to English, it's twice difficult. It should be step by step. So if those wonderful ladies could speak in English, it would be even easier. Otherwise, we would have to do turn-based translation. They speak and then I speak.
I think what we'll do is when Lilia is speaking, we'll just, anyone who doesn't understand Russian, they can just listen to the sound of her voice. And I don't think we need a translation when Lilia is speaking. So we'll just enjoy this what Lilia is saying from whatever level of feeling. It'll be more on the level of feeling. So don't worry about translating Russian into English. Just when Lilia is speaking, then we'll all just listen. Okay?
All right, let's close our eyes and don't mind the time. Jay Gurdev.
This is a simple awareness technique that we'll do together. With your eyes closed, what I want you to do is to be aware of your thoughts and your emotions. Now I want you to be aware of the body, any sensations, any little aches and pains if you have any. And we're just very easy with this. If your mind wanders, then just bring your awareness back to the body. Now, I would like you to be aware of the silence. Just have your awareness on the silence. And again, if the mind wanders, it's okay. As soon as we become aware that we're not with the silence, we easily bring our awareness back to the silence. Now, I would like you to be aware of that awareness that's aware of the thoughts, the emotions, the body, and the silence. Just allow your awareness to be with that awareness. And you can open your eyes. The purpose of this little exercise is to bring the silence more to the surface of life. And when we say silence, we mean pure consciousness or being. And that's who we truly are. Our true self is that silence. And as we all know, life is very demanding. And quite often, or it's very easy to kind of forget about that in the day-to-day activities that we're having, experiencing. So what we do is, with our eyes open, you can do this all the time, or you can just do it in the meeting, whatever you prefer. It's just whenever you find that you're not in the silence, then bring your awareness back to the silence. It doesn't really matter what's being said. It's what we've been trained to do throughout our whole lives is to learn. And so it's just natural that we feel that we should learn something when somebody is talking to us. But that's not really the case. What's important is that we bring being or silence to the surface of life so that we can live that silence. And when we do that, then life is, thinking is more clearly, there's more joy, there's more happiness, there's more love in your life. And we could say a person lives heaven on earth when that happens naturally and spontaneously. And so the reason that I asked not to translate when Lilia talks is Lilia talks from that level of being. And I thought it would be really great for the Russian people not to have a translation. And for the rest of us, we just listen without expecting to learn anything. And what happens when you listen without expecting to learn anything? Then at some point you'll hear something, and this will create a shift. This will create a shift to, we'll say, first stage cosmic consciousness. And it's a very simple thing. The shift to cosmic consciousness is a very simple thing. As a matter of fact, we've always been functioning from this level. It's just that we thought we were functioning from this mind body. We thought our mind, our body, our intellect, our ego were functioning. But in essence, once a person clearly wakes up to living cosmic consciousness spontaneously, then you realize that you've always been in this state. And it's important that we don't expect, a mind-blowing psychedelic experience when we shift into cosmic consciousness. For some people, it's like that, but for most people, it's a simple recognition that you are infinite, unbounded silence. And once that happens, then once we go deeper and deeper into the silence, then we really start to live a different value of life. So what you'll be able to do afterwards is you'll be able to ask questions if you have any questions. So Lilia, do you want to tell us your experience?
Thank you. First of all, just a couple words in English. I probably won't speak long because it's an experiment. And yes, I invite you to, when I will be speaking Russian, to just see what happens in your body when I speak. Мне бы, конечно, хотелось видеть ваши лица, но даже не видя вас за этой камерой, я приглашаю вас обратить внимание на ту часть вас, которая решила сегодня прийти на этот Zoom собрание. Сейчас вы слышите мой голос, и автоматически мысли формулируют какие-то суждения, категоризуют. Обратите внимание на ту часть вас, которая сейчас создает категории, пытается понять, о чем она, кто она. А теперь обратите внимание на ту часть, которая может просто наблюдать за этим совершенно нейтрально. Этой части вас совершенно не важно, что я скажу, потому что это та же часть вас, которая сейчас говорит. Это то же сознание, которое сейчас говорит в этом теле. То же самое сознание, которое сейчас чего-то ищет, но одновременно знает, что искать нечего. Если в теле возникает какое-то движение, позвольте его. Потому что ам, это не про зажатость, это не про ту тишину, которая бывает, когда мы замираем. Это про ту тишину, которая держит все звуки, держит все движения. Поэтому мы можем быть динамичны и при этом находиться глубже в тишине. Можете наблюдать, как возникает чувство к тому, что я говорю. Это может быть сопротивление, это может быть более глубокое спокойствие. Опять же, это на поверхности. Более глубоко находится та самая тишина, которая все это держит. И если вы позволите этой тишине стать громче, то что-то начинает происходить. И вопросы отпадают. И мнения не важны. И, возможно, даже внутренняя улыбка где-то на уровне клеток начинает появляться. Потому что это свобода. Это та самая свобода, которую мы ищем, но не в тех местах. Она уже здесь. Почувствуйте, как отзываются эти слова. Я свободен. Я свободна. Уже. Да, тело может начать двигаться самостоятельно. Потому что эта тишина становится глубже, чем больше мы позволяем свободного движения. движение тела, движение мысли, как вот эта динамика внутри этого объема тишины, который все это держит. Я благодарю вас за то, что мы все вместе становимся тишиной, потому что так гораздо проще. Чем больше нас пребывает в тишине, тем свободнее мир. Спасибо вам. Thank you.
Thank you, Lilia. That was really beautiful. It's, I didn't understand a word that you said, of course, but it was just this flow of love. And maybe it's kind of what I've been going through. I've been going through this expansion of the heart, but just the waves of love and silence and flowing was very, very beautiful. And that's the important thing whenever you're listening to someone talk about higher states of consciousness is we don't listen to learn, because shifting to higher states of consciousness, it's kind of like transcending. When we meditate, when we transcend, we can't make ourselves transcend. It's something that we have to allow to happen. If you try to make yourself transcend, what happens is you just bring yourself back to that surface level of life where the mind basically takes control. So when we meditate, we just think the mantra very easily and we let it go, and then it goes away. And when it goes away, that's when we transcend, whether we notice it or not. And then some thought will come, and then we come back. So it's this back and forth, just very innocently, effortlessly. It's such an effortless process, this meditation that we teach. And it's the same thing about waking up to higher states of consciousness. It's not something that we can do as who we think we are, this mind body. This mind body cannot take us to higher states of consciousness. What we have to do is learn to allow it to happen, just like meditating. And that's why this meditation is so wonderful in terms of the development of higher states of consciousness. It's not that you'll shift into a higher state of consciousness meditating. Most people shift when they have their eyes open, when they're not meditating. But what we have to do is we have to allow it to happen. The mind has to stop for a moment, just a second, so that being can recognize itself. Being can see itself as infinite, unbounded, functioning through this mind body. And when that happens, then life changes. And I won't talk too much today because we talked a lot last meeting. And I don't know, I guess if anybody has any questions, you can ask myself or Lilia or anybody in the group, Ingmar. Anyone can ask questions or share experiences. It's really a wonderful thing to share experiences, because I guess we can say being loves to hear itself talked about itself. And this just really deepens the experience of when we share experiences. So questions, experiences, comments. And again, thank you, Lilia. That was very beautiful.
Could I suggest that Ingemar speak to us? Do you have something to say, Ingemar? With your microphone on?
Ingemar, you're mute.
Sorry. Yeah. I don't know really where to start, man, but maybe I can relate or talk a little about before I woke up. I had a small experience, which is quite interesting in a way. Maybe I can talk about that. So I'll relate a little bit about that. Is it okay? Okay. The thing is, you see, I play a lot of instruments. It was about 20 years ago now. We had very short of money. So my wife asked me, can you go in and play this key harp in the subway? So I was obedient, and I took my case and one of these key harps and went to the subway because my experience happens in the subway. Therefore, I'm talking about that. So I started to ride the subway about 5:30 in the afternoon, and I was sitting further back, had the back, so I could see the whole carriage, the wagon. As Geoff said, my eyes was opened. I was not meditating, but suddenly, when I came to the central station, what we call T Central, then when the subway door shut, my mind started to went back inside, like sucked back into my eyes, like you said, like a water. You have a water hose. If the water goes out, but this goes in, so it will suck back the consciousness into my eyes. And when the consciousness came in my brain or inside me, it was round, like a ping pong ball. You know?
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt. May I ask everybody to mute the mic so that we don't have noises in the background? Thank you very much.
Яночка, у тебя микрофон включен.
And this ball shrink to a small dot, just a small dot. This smaller started to went down from my throat in the neck and down to my heart. And when it came down to the heart, a physical heart, a psychical heart, not a physical, I felt like the heart chakra, you know, that there was a small hole in the chakra, so it went out through a hole in the heart. And when I went out through this hole in the heart, I came in a big black space, just black. Everything was black, just for a second or two. But in the left corner, it started to a small dot lit up in the left corner, up, right, left, so on. And this dot started to shine like a cone also. It's like an ice cream cone, like zoom, like in a 45 degrees angle. From the left corner up to the right corner. And then after a while, this just a second or two, the cone lit out, but there was like a round ball in the top, like an ice cream. You have this ice cream was a round ball, and the round ball was more copper color, and it was going very slowly round left corner turn like that. It was like in an arm's length length from where I was, looked on this, like big as an orange, you can say. And then I intuitively got this message. This is the pure self, my deeper self I was looking at. Like a telepathic message that I was looking for the self or God or whatever you call it. But suddenly there was two doors. It was still rotating, left turn. The two doors went back like that inside, and it was open in the upper part, and inside there was a fire. You can see sparks glowing from inside. Like the fire of God, whatever you call it. After a while, then there was 3 tentacles coming out on the right hand side, like elephant noses, like that, 3 like that coming out, but it was still joined into this round ball. And there was a 3, 1, 2, 3 in a in a row, but in a perspective. So the last one was like a Y, looked like that, but it was because the 2 first was just single. I didn't understand what that was. I'm gonna explain later what it is. And then after a while, it goes like very slow in a way, but it got very quick in a way. But I'll talk it in a slow way, otherwise you don't understand. Then you know, some frogs have long tongues. So I got this feeling that some power from this ball took this eye who was looking and dragged me into the ball, like with a force. And when I came into this ball, I came into a huge consciousness, expanding it everywhere. And it was totally silent, it was totally light, and it was totally blissful. And this was just a very quiet, just 1 second or 2. Then I started to look out through the eyes, and I see also it called this station called Hay Square, Hötorget in Swedish. So I didn't hear any sound, but I saw that here I shall go off, because this was my destination in the ordinary life. So I had a thought that I have come to my destination in the ordinary life, but I've also on the same time come to the destination in my spiritual life at the same time in a way. Then I started to walk, because the body was like very, very low down there somewhere, because I had this huge awareness. It was like looking from above down. And then the body was moving and took the key harp box and started to go out. And the first I can't say it was a thought. It's much more like you can say recognition that I was astonished that I could move in this totally silence, because nothing was moving inside me or in this consciousness, but I could see that everything was moving outside. But the thing was, I thought it was very strange that something can move in the silence and the stillness. That was my first what do you say, thought, or you couldn't say thought, but experiencing. I thought it was very strange. Then I went out and I sat down on the outside of the train, and then I again came into this more inner experience. Then I started to see that the middle one of these elephant things, there was white small clouds coming out and going back into out in the black, you can say akasha or space, and coming into the ball again. And after a while, I opened the eyes, and then I can see the bliss was coming out. It's the bliss, because these three things. Later, I got this information. It's Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Those three things, because this white thing is the intellect, which analyzes and also cuts things, and that thing who goes in on the other side, it's the intuition. So Sat means actually, you can say in a Buddhist term, Buddhi, it's the same as Sat. But Sat, when Maharishi talks about Sat, he says there's unbounded awareness. Yes, it's unbounded if you go in, but if you go out, it's the intellect. It depends on what direction you go, in or out. And this middle thing, with the white things, I could also feel it coming out from my heart, like a small clouds going down to people's hearts, because I have a X-ray sight like the Superman has. I could see people's heart also. Inside the heart, I had this small ball also. So the Ananda went from me, or from the self, through me, out through the ordinary reality, down and reach another person's heart, and down in that person's heart to the ball or the self there. So it's a circle movement. After a while, I can see the Ananda coming out from my eyes, also reach other people's eyes, and they get really blissed out. So when they're passing me, like, so it was quite nice experience. So I was also totally blissed out. There was no thought, but after a while I could see the thoughts coming like a big flagship or something coming in front of me like that. So it was, yeah. It's a little bit, I've written about those, a little bit more about this. It's easier to write about, I think, because then you get a little bit structure about, when I talk, it's a little bit spacey. But when I write, there is a more moment, and also I can explain a little bit. I think I have easier to write, to explain things in written things than talking. A friend of mine, a bishop, he said, when I talk to you, I get confused, but when you write, it's crystal clear. So that's good, yeah, judgment. So I have written some documents about this also. So I'm trying to write a book about the whole experience, but other things also, because when you meditate, you have an experience on the road, not just like when you wake up, but you have small experiences during the way, and also after awakening. So some want to ask something about this experience, or what happened? Yeah, I can say like this. I was totally awake for three whole days. So I watched the body when it was sleeping. I also watched when the body or the mind was dreaming, when I had some dreams, but not much. So I was totally awake. There was no blackness. But the fourth day, I slept again. Came back to ordinary sleep. So I couldn't hold this very high experience. I'm a little bit sad about that, but it was good also because it was very hard to be in that state. I can also say that, like for 1 hour afterward, there was a new consciousness up here in this region who leads up, and this is the witnessing consciousness sitting up here, like a 8th chakra. So when this woke up here, I could see it through the body, but there was no Ingemar at any point. The ego was gone. There was just emptiness inside. So, yeah.
That's very beautiful, Ingmar. Have you had that experience again?
I had some pre-experience before this experience. Also, I come in contact, when I was in this for 3 days, I come in contact with this, what you call Akasha memory. And the Akasha memory showed me some before my life, when I had a higher state of consciousness, like a movie. And also, actually, my first awakening was together with Amritanandamayi, the Indian saint, woman saint. I was at her darshan, I think it was 89 or 1990 in Stockholm. I was hugging her, but I also had a small baby, my middle son. He was just 4 months in my arms. But then my heart opened. I saw this like the Akasha show me, and I was enlightened there. But we could see this small white clouds going between our hearts, but from her heart and from my heart. So I was sitting here very close, and people were going by us. So I was allowed to sit there like 40 minutes. Otherwise, they used to just be there for 3-4 minutes. But and she also took her hand on my crown chakra and laughed and so on. And we had this really beautiful experience together. So actually, the spiritual master is that who wakes you. So she woke me the first time. So this other experience in the subway was the second time. Yes?
Yeah, what I
Therefore, it's very, very, very important to have a spiritual master, because the master is taking away the ignorance like 50%. It's like some written about in Vedic books, and 25% when you study, like reading Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, Yoga Vasishta, whatever you read, Karma Mimamsa, and so study the scriptures, 25%. And the other 25% you must do yourself, meditation and so on. So therefore a master is really, really important, because it takes away the ignorance very much. Yeah.
Yeah, having a living master, if possible, is valuable, because they can confirm your experiences. They can say, yes, you're going in the right direction.
Right.
So that's very valuable. Yeah. What you will find is that I guess it's, if we live long enough, those experiences that you had will be permanent and part of your life all the time. Sometimes we get glimpses into, I guess the word we could say is into reality or into the truth. And then it takes a while for it to become established as part of our new reality, our current reality. But in my experience, I found that as we refine our senses of perception, then that clarity, we'll call it a clarity, it comes back. And we have it all the time. And it's a beautiful thing. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, I can add just one more little thing. When I started sleeping unconsciousness on the 4th day, sleep, but in the waking state, the mind is like very quiet. I can think when I need thoughts, and feelings comes when there is a need for feelings. Otherwise, very quiet inside. It still is, and therefore sometimes when you said, Geoff, you should take care of experience your thoughts and your feelings, and I thought, what feelings? What thoughts? So I'm very, yeah, there's most silence inside. And also, as you said, you fall back to this very peaceful state of mind. It's
Yeah.
almost, I'm aware of that almost all the time. It's more like there is silence all the time. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and that's what happens. That's what happens when a person is clearly established in being. Is that it's there all the time. And when the mind stops thinking, or we stop focusing on a task, we're there. We're just there, right? And it's
Yeah.
a very beautiful, natural, and
You can say like, I have a functioning mind who do when I, or function or operates when I want it to operate. Otherwise, it's quiet. So I'm not slave of the mind. The mind is mind slave,
right?
or my tool.
Yes, and that's how it should be. That's how
Yeah,
it should
right.
be. Yeah, that's very beautiful.
It's like playing an instrument, almost. Yeah. Roland, want to ask something or speak?
Yes, I'm more on the technical side now. First of all, thank you very much, Ingrid, for this great narrated this great description of your experience, and it's accompanying me ever since I heard it the first time. And the thing about this stillness within has become such a image almost that I've started whenever I walk along the street or meet people, I see them like potential silences. They're all potential silences, even though they run around and go along the business. So this is really a powerful description. But I have to remind of our timetable. We have designed to have about 30 minutes of this talking about the spiritual. Paul, please, can you hang on, because it's your part to continue actually to consider the timetable, and we have some people who might talk about their experiences of teaching in the arena here. Thank you.
Yeah, yes. Could we take maybe a 5-minute break and come back? Great. Okay, let's do that, everybody. Alrighty. So shall we talk to the new teachers? Find out how they're doing?
Yes, I would like to take a round. And maybe somebody wants to start, like Dean or Jana. Or why don't we just ask?
Oh, well, we'll start with the let's ask Ideen how he's doing.
What is happening now?
I just asked Ideen if he wanted to speak or someone else.
I have one more thing to add, I thought, if it's okay. We talked about the ITMA master, but the thing is, everybody has an inner master who lives in the heart, and that master is the most important master, because that's your own true self. But you can also experience the master in the heart, because everybody has both an immanence and a transcendence. Immanence means that you can see the master in the heart. If you have this, like an experience of that, or if you have a very strong desire, in a way. Like if you have Christ, as your chosen God idol, then you maybe can experience Christ in the heart. Or if you have Gurudev, then you can experience Gurudev. And if you have Buddha, maybe you can experience Buddha and so on. If you have Krishna, you can experience Krishna and so on. But you don't have to see some vision or pictures, because everybody has also what we call intuition. Intuition is that inner voice that speaks from your heart. And when you really listen to that, instead of listening in the head, you can listen deep in the heart, because very many thoughts is going around. But if you ignore or try to don't think so much about the thoughts, just listen deeper, then you can really feel this voice and hear this voice. At first you hear it like a small whisper, very small, and the head is screaming like blah, 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 you know. So if you can turn the awareness more down to the heart region, you can really listen to this. And when you start to hear this voice, it's like a guiding flame or guiding, it can guide you very much in life. There was one guy, it's a Danish guy called Martinus Thompson. He came in cosmic consciousness many years ago. He written a very thick book called the Third Testament, and explain everything from small cells and so on. Very, very experienced science, Christian science, you can call it. But he said one little thing I think is very good to remember. He said, I had a small prayer, a small thought, whenever I had to make a decision or a pathway, which way to go. And I thought, what will Christ do in this situation? What will Christ do in this situation? And immediately I got this answer from inside. And I went that way. That answer pointed me. And I said, this small prayer led me to cosmic consciousness. Right? So, you don't have to do big things. Actually, the small things are the very important things. Okay? Over and out.
Да. Ну, я вот слушал Ингемара и хочу тоже отметить такой интересный феномен.
Oh, yes, listening to Ingemar, I also want to mark this interesting phenomena.
Что когда я стою перед какой-то задачей, например, мне нужно с кем-то встретиться и рассказать об медитации, провести вводную лекцию там.
When I'm facing this task, when I have to introduce this knowledge to somebody, to do maybe intro lecture regarding meditation before auditorium.
Ну и, как правило, всегда есть какие-то вещи, которые мешают, так или иначе какие-то помехи возникают.
There are always obstacles. There are always some turbulence.
Да, и в эти минуты я говорю, но если Гурудеву это угодно, то все будет нормально.
In these moments, I always feel that if Gurudev would want this, this will all go just fine.
И вот все как-то раз, и все так чудесно, волшебным образом происходит, что все нормально в конечном счете.
Immediately, it turns out to be okay, and more than that, in an absolutely magical way.
Да.
If I understand what you're saying, it's when you talk to people like in a spiritual way, or talk to them about God, Christ, whatever, or spiritual people like Gurudev or Shankara and so on, there are different issues. Is that what you mean? There are different meanings, and they can't handle it really, or they have strong feelings about this is right or this is wrong or so on. Do I read you right when I say like that?
Ну, я стараюсь не говорить людям о Боге или о каких-то религиозных, не касаясь религиозных вещей, просто о медитации.
I am trying to avoid topics of very spiritual terminology like God and stick to meditation and mind techniques yet. However, it does bring this understanding.
Просто я хотел сказать, что когда я действую от себя лично, я чувствую, что возникают какие-то трудности. И тогда я просто отдаю это на милость Гурудева, и все, и больше ничего не беспокоюсь.
But in such situations, and actually in every situation in my life, when I feel lack of confidence, potential failure, or obstacles on the path to get things done, I just dedicate that action to Gurudev. I just exclude myself, and that turns to be always fine, always better.
И в этот момент я чувствую, что ну, ну, какое-то присутствие чего-то, что уже мало зависит от меня лично. И это очень хорошо, такое хорошее.
That also comes with very pleasant feeling of presence, that not only I'm not in charge, but the wonderful and pleasant thing is going on.
Yes, what you are describing is in the Indian terms called seva. Seva is selfless, like work or selfless service to other people. And if you do seva, then you rise also in consciousness because you take away the ego. Ego is set aside, you can say, woo. So, and then you start acting. And in you start acting, it's more like a karma mimansa is about that. You set away the ego. And so you really rise in consciousness. If you see how Maharishi did, he was Gurudev's secretary, and he tried to feel how Gurudev wants things to do things and so on. So he said it took me about 3 years to really come in tune with Gurudev, and then he started to answer his letters without asking him because he knew how he should write. So Maharishi has gone that way, in a way. He was a karma yogi when he was young, though, you can say. So this is a really beautiful path, a beautiful way to rise your consciousness, to really do this selfless and also do it with this feeling. I had the same experience a little bit. I was working in a computer school that 2 team teachers have started, and also talked about Maharishi because he wanted it to be in Sweden, a computer school where they learn how to C++ and Visual Basic and so on, all the computer languages. But the thing was, when all the pupils came, they were introduced in TM also, like an option. Not, they don't force them, but they give it as an opportunity to all the pupils to start TM. So I was working there as a net technician, taking care of the computers. So I also had this feeling I was working for Maharishi and Gurudev in a way, because it's the end of. So this is really, really good feeling to have this, that you're working for a saint, or working for a master, or you're working for God, because it takes away the ego. This is really a spiritual part, you know. Okay?
Thank you so much for that commentary, Ingemar. Would anyone else like to speak?
It's so quiet here. I'm sure that everyone here has got a story to tell about this, but maybe not really daring. So, Paul, why don't you just ask somebody who didn't speak up yet?
All right. Well, I'll tell everyone a brief story. So I think I was 24 when I finished with teacher training, and I went from Spain to Indiana, where my mother lived. And Maharishi said, go to your hometown newspaper and ask to be interviewed. So I went to this newspaper where my mother lived and asked for an interview, and the person we spoke, and I was with a teacher that had much more experience, so he spoke to us, and I thought, oh, we'll have an article in the newspaper about this big. And then the newspaper came out. I think it came out twice a week or something. And it was the headline of the newspaper. And it said, Transcendental Meditation. Is this the answer to the world's problems? That was 1973. So anyway, and I was just quaking with fear every time I had to speak, you know. But people started, and here we are 51 years later, and we're still teaching, and all that fear has been replaced, all that doubt has, you know, we speak from the heart, as Ingemar said, and people hear us, on whatever level they're on. So I don't want to choose somebody, but would somebody like to say something? How about Sasha?
I'm put into the corner here because I'm trying to translate and now nobody would translate me. But I would not hesitate to use that chance and thank you all and thank Lilia especially. And this is my second best day of the year so far. And not because the another one is better, because it is the second meeting of such wonderful guests we have here. I would come for any other day intuitively. And such a warm heart, Lilia said in Russian, among the other wonderful things, that try to put your attention to the part of yourself which led you to this meeting here today. For me, it is very obvious part of myself. Again, thanks. Unlimited thanks to you. And a question. Non-addressed question for anybody who can answer.
Саша, нам тоже
Do you
интересно.
think, you see they're already complaining. I'll try to be brief. Do you think that it's more effective to be under some conventional way to the spiritual development, like religion or philosophical way, or in our times, it is of more effectiveness just to go with the flow, pray to find the living guru, and not to be under any convention. Conventions like religion or philosophy, do they abstract the truth? Do they help you to find the truth? How it is easier to go to the truth through religion, or now it is even harder because the religions are all disordered, ancient? What do you think?
Translate.
I will be translating meanwhile.
That you said, was it a question about this topic? Yes? You said in English. Or somebody?
Yeah, I think that was too difficult to formulate. Let me ask it in more easy manner. do you think now religion helps to get that real experience of the truth, or it is a long way and now shorter ways are available?
If you allow me to try to answer the question, I can relate where I heard Maurice said about religion is like 75% of the knowledge. It has not 100% of the knowledge. Just Vedic science, or Veda, has the 100% of the knowledge, right? So what we are teaching is coming from the Veda. Therefore, we have 100% knowledge about also the 7 stages of consciousness. So it's a really beautiful teaching we have from Maharishi, and some comes from the Shankaracharya tradition. Shankaracharya is very known in India as a very established philosopher, and also establishing of Advaita religion, in a way, Advaita philosophy. Advaita means really no God, in a way, you can say. More like the Buddhists say, because it's just talking about the self or cosmic consciousness and so on, as Maharishi also did, or do. So the thing is, religion can help you, in my way, in my view. It's not Marisha's view, but it's my view. Religion can really help you if you are a spiritual person and you feel the need for it, or you feel it can contribute to your path. As I myself are training to be a Catholic priest, like so in the summer maybe I'll become a priest. The 7th of April I'm going to be deacon in this church, Liberal Catholic Church, but that's my own choosing, because I feel very connected to Christ also, not just Marish Guriev and the Shankaracharya tradition. But my answer is that, of course, religion can help you if you feel it's okay and it's feel that you benefit from it. But if you feel it's presses you down, or get you depressive or something, that's not your path, because you have to feel in your heart if this brings you up, in a way, the whole heart. It's like if you've seen this movie, Dancing with Wolves, with Kevin Costner, when he was a soldier out in the desert and met the Indians for the first time. And the medicine man there, of the Indians, the American Indians, not Indian Indians. This medicine man said to Kevin Costner, when they after a while get acquainted, he said, "My heart flies like an high in the sky like an eagle when I meet you, when we talk. So when you get this feeling of being elevated, lifted up, when you meet a person or you are practicing a religion or whatever you are doing, that's right, that's the thing." Feel this rise of the heart, then you're on the right path, right? Okay?
Thank you, Ingemar. Just what I wanted.
It's my wife. The thing is with we can talk about a little bit about relationships if you want. The thing with relationships is very hard, but it's very beautiful too. I am like a balloon who moves up in the sky, and my wife is dragging it down. She's like more central. She's more stable, more down to earth. So it's very good to have somebody hauling in the balloon. Otherwise, it'll take off. So
I'm Mark and you're Maria.
yeah. So, but we have struggles also in fights. We're two lions. I'm the 12th of August in the star signs, and she's 14th of the August. So we really fight, like sparks coming in between sometimes, like electricity really, or fire. But we have been together 33 years now, so it's quite a long time. We still struggle sometimes, but mostly it's more peaceful nowadays because we have had our fights. But actually, it should be man and wife, or wife and wife, or man and man, whatever relationship you have. It's also very, what do you say, evolving in a way, because you have to compromise very much in relationships, what to do, what not to do, time and so on. The dog, who's going out with the dog, and so on. Okay. Okay.
Okay, may I say something about this aspect of relationship? And let's put it in this context of unlimited less, sort of slipping into this space of no limits. And but we are always in living in relationships with either the partner, the wife, or the man, or but we certainly have relationships, at least with our parents, father and mother, or kids. But they are hardly ever free of tensions, these relationships, as deep as we want to have it covered with love. But one of my most beautiful experiences I had when meditating, it's quite some time ago, was because I had huge troubles with my father and with my mother. And until one day, I had really such a deep experience of love, which had no limit. It was just love itself, like Ingemar, you would say, Ananda. It was Ananda. And in that situation, all the tensions, all the karma, the unfortunate bad karma my parents had, and I was complaining about them, was vanished. And from then on, I had somehow no problems anymore with my parents, even though they didn't change, but I changed in a way that I understood them. And I could, by understanding them, I had no reason to complain anymore and to see any tension. And this was not just staying with them, but it extended itself, this feeling, to my sisters and also to the people I see today when they talk with their parents having troubles, I see the potential of just experiencing the spiritual power of Ananda in this state of unbounded awareness, let's put it this way, if we are going to slip into that. I just wanted to add that. Thank you very much, Ingemar, about showing this. Paul, how much time do we have today still? We are not going to extend it unlimited. So,
Well, it looks like Aiden would like to speak again.
Да, я хотел спросить, а скажите, а кто из здесь присутствующих в космическом сознании, кроме Ингемара?
Yes, I did also wanted to ask. And he is asking, whom among present here today, among us, are currently in cosmic consciousness, as he can say? Except from Ingemar, of course, obviously.
I don't know if I'm there. I can't say. I say as Moshe said, I'm awake. Yes, I'm awake. But I don't know.
Ну ладно, тогда никто не хочет признаваться, я понял. Тогда я спрошу. Вот в прошлый раз, когда выступал, я не помню имя нашего спикера, он сказал такую очень важную вещь, что он очень долго старался просветлеть, и чем больше он старался, тем дальше он был от этой цели. Окей, Саша?
Oh, yes, I see. So no one will confess. Then let me ask this. On our last meeting, our dear guest, Geoff, mentioned very important thing, in my opinion, that he said, I tried to get into CC more and more, and the more I tried, the further I get from that actual goal.
Окей. И он сказал еще такую вещь, что как только он перестал фанатеть по поводу просветления, и это произошло. Как-то так произошло, что неожиданно. И вот я хотел спросить, а как у вас это произошло? То есть, и как это, сделать, не хотеть? Как бы не хотеть, не то, что не хотеть, а не стараться хотеть. Как у вас это получилось?
And then as soon as he stopped trying, as he stopped idealizing that goal, that stopped being a maniacal idea for him, as soon as he stopped trying, that happened. So the question is, how did it happen for you? Did you get would you be able to give any advice on how to stop trying? What does it physically mean to stop pursuing that?
I can try. I don't think you should stop trying because there's two ways. One way out, like the intellect, when you put your intention outside yourself, then there is a trying because you have to there is time when you should sit and meditate, and there is time to work, and there's time to eat, and there's time to sleep, So you have to have a timetable in a way, you can say. But when you are meditating or doing mental technique like CD program and so on, you should stop trying, just do the technique. That's the thing, right? Because if you're trying there, then you stop the process. So not trying when you're doing the technique, when you go inside, then just follow the instructions. Do the technique, do meditation as you have been taught, do the sutras as you have been taught, and so on. Because then you have no hindrance. Because if you try it, you keep it on the surface level. So when something happens inside, just flow with it. Let it happen. Let it go. Fall if you're falling. Go inside. But outside, you have to have a strict timetable in a way. Be regular. Meditate every day, twice a day, and so on. That's the thing. But I have one more thing to add. If you have a really fiery feeling and longing, that helps. That is really my experience. I had this really hard feeling. I want to be enlightened. or really, I also prayed to the self. Like instead of praying to God, you can say to self, please open yourself. Like that. I had this really strong feeling also, because it's like, you can say, the relationship between God or the divine, or whatever you call it, the self. You are like the child, and the God and the self is like the mother. What happens if the child calls you out? If you're having in a playground, you sit and smoke. The mother sit and smoke and talk, and let the children play with themselves. But when one child is crying out, then they are alert, right? It's same with God. When you cry out to God or the divine, then God gets alert. So like trying, have a very deep feeling is really good, because then you get the attention of the divine. Here is one who really wants me, or wants that, or a universe, you can also call it. Then universe responds, because you have this really hard and deep feeling for this. Otherwise, it's like, oh, he doesn't matter. He's playing. He's having fun. But if you have this very hard and deep feeling to get higher state of consciousness, I think that's helping. Instead of, you can say this feeling is like a fire inside. The fire that you will evolve, or really longing. If you have like a wife or a girlfriend, and she is in another place, and then you can feel that I really long for her to come, or him, or whatever it's for him. So this feeling that something is lacking, but I want it, in a way. But also feeling that this feeling is really strong love. You see my meaning? So it's not wrong to have a desire, but you shall have this desire like in a way organized in a way. But when it comes to going inside, you shall more let it go. But you can have a strong desire also. Going in, it depends on, because you can say some people come to a certain point in their lives. It happened for me many years ago when I was 19. I couldn't go on living if I don't know, or I didn't know that God existed. So I had this experience also. I started one meditation going in, taken another kind of experience now. And I was sitting in a dark room, and I came to this place in my life. I really want to know if God existed. I couldn't really go on living if I don't know. Then I started a meditation, with my TM mantra, and really had this feeling also going inside, really strong. And then I used Om almost, and I really called in my thoughts, God, God, do you exist? Do you exist? And going in, and what happened is the body started jumping up and down. The head was going around like this, like like helicopter. But I didn't mind. I was going in, and after a while it stopped. But then I started crying, really a heartfelt cry, that I really want to know if God, it's like the small child is crying out to the mother, I'm not pleased with playing, please come pick me up, or something like that. And what happened is I went in 3 times, very, very strong, and the body was still flapping around, jumping up and down, form of levitation, you can say. But I didn't mind. I could have died, I don't know. But after a while I got this also stillness inside, and I saw a point coming from left in a black space in front of me. And then it went down a little bit, but then it came in front of me, like this small point expanded to be a ball, but this ball was the sun, and it really came very big. And inside the sun there was Gurudev sitting on a throne, and the throne came out from the sun, and Gurudev was coming out sitting in lotus position, and there was really hard vibrations, very strong vibrations. And then I saw could see down in my heart, like my mantra was coming, and there was 2 doors opening here, like woof, 2 doors in my forehead, and I saw my mantra coming up from my heart in like 3 dimensions, in different colors, like a big block, big, but this was the letters of the mantra, like 3 dimensions, coming up, going up and out of these 2 doors in the head, and into Gurudev's heart. And this was going like that, and at the same time I heard all angels like calling out, God in heaven, happy, or hallelujah, in different languages. But I didn't see the angels, but I could hear a choir of angels. And this was going like that all the time, up, out, but after a while, this degree, 45, went down. Like, so what I was looking at was my own heart, into my own heart. And then I knew that God lives here, in my own heart. And then he went back into the sun, or into the throne, and the throne went into the sun, and so on. So this experience I had when I was 19. So this was my first experience, and I knew that God is a living reality, and he lives here in my heart, and also in everybody's heart in a way. So I get really heard there, but I had this strong feeling also. So it's not what you say, wrong with strong feelings and cry out to God. You can do that because it's the same relation like with a mother and a child. So I've written this experience also. I think I sent it to Roland and Paul, I don't know, but it's also going to be in my book, because this is my first experience in waking up. There is God is real. So also, never mind.
Thank you very much, Ingmar. Thank
Yeah.
you very much for your most beautiful, most inspiring stories, not just stories. It's, we notice, and I notice, it's your reality, and it's such motivating reality of yours that whatever we listeners may have experienced ourselves, but that's the purpose of this meeting, of our meetings, that we have a chance to listen to the experiences in their slipping into the unboundedness. And I would like to say, I'm sure we haven't been arriving at the end. So
more things.
so, but yes, Ingmar, and I would like to give Aydin a chance to continue with his considerations. We only have to consider also our time limits today, but we have so many visitors here, so we are surely having again in 1 month another meeting where we can continue our coming together and talking about and exchanging and communicating what we understand to be our spiritual experiences, which are enriching our lives. Aydin, did you want to add something, please?
Я хотел поблагодарить Ингемара и всех, кто сегодня был на встрече, за то, что вы поделились своим опытом. Мне это очень важно. Я думаю, это важно для всех, особенно новых учителей. Спасибо большое.
Oh, I wanted to thank you, Engemar, and everybody present here today for sharing that wonderful experiences. This is very important for me, and I'm positive that it is of many importance for everybody here, especially new teachers, for their daily lives, for their personal lives, for our unity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Paul. Thank you very much for your moderating. Do you want to say some words, Paul?
Oh, thank you all so much. It's just so honored to be with you all. My wish is that Lilia gets to speak to the Russian people soon. Yeah. Happy that I could help cause that.
Great. It was a great experience for me too, to hear Lily talking her Russian. And I closed my eyes and let the language sort of move within me without understanding. But I just felt these waves. So it was a beautiful experience. And as we have seen here, some of our guests like Rebecca or Angelica or Jana or Lara, and I can't Merundanda. And I even saw Anthony Westbrook here. He disappeared again, but he's a very famous, very well-known scholar in the Vedic science of sounds and music. So I hope so that one of you I just named may visit us again next time and contribute with your experiences here, and let us know how you have been motivated to begin with meditation, and what have been your key experience of continuing meditation, because you had one of the most hopefully beautiful experiences due to this meditation practice. But for today, I would like to close now the meeting and say to everyone present. Thank you very much. And Jay,
it would be wonderful, Ingemar, if you can play.
Oh,
maybe
yes.
one song from
yeah,
Ingemar.
yeah. Play us some songs.
Okay, I can play
yes.
a small
yes.
song.
Yes.
Can you hear it?
Thank you very much, Ingeborg. So I may say this way, it was a beautiful 2 hours being together with you once more. And Paul, thank you very much for moderating this meeting. And of course, thank you very much to Geoff that he has been leading the discussion. And thank you very much, Irina, to be with us again and say loud, translate. Okay, so I may say hello and goodbye until the next time. Bye-bye. Jay Gurudev.
Jay Gurudev.
Oh,
Gurudev.
the voice of Abner.
Jay Gurudev. Jay Gurudev.
Irina G. Yes.
Jay
All right.
Jay Gurudev, Abner.
Jay Gurudev.
Gurudev.